Hi, my name's Shawn Shaler. That's my friend Chris Ford, aka the Objective. Hey, that was nice. The Objective Geek of YouTube and Twitter. I appreciate the eyebrow raise, the nod to his own little avatar there. That's great. I had him muted this whole time. You saw everything. All you missed was him laughing at me. This is Legend of Korra, Book 3, Change Chapter 10, Long Live the Queen. And I'm so excited to talk about this episode. I would love to just jump right in the episode, but as always, I also care about Chris and to ask Chris, how are you doing before we jump into this episode, for which I think I mentioned I'm very excited.
I am decent.
I'll take decent. Have you put any more time into Nickelodeon All-Star
I
Brawl? It's
really
only
have
really been a
not.
week since we talked about it, but
I'm terrible at buying games and then just not playing them that much afterwards.
I mean, yeah, you're preaching to the choir, and I don't even have
Oh,
the good.
you are way worse than me. You must be.
Yeah,
You can't have enough time to play all those games.
I. So my policy is if I buy a game, I do want to play it, but when I say play it, I could mean like 5 minutes. I could plug it on and get through like an opening sequence bit. It works, and then put it away. It's like, Shawn, it was new. I know it
There
worked.
was no question
There
of
was
it
no
working.
point to what you just did. Not to mention when you plug it in and it just like needs some little piece of data to go pull the rest off the cloud, like it was invariably gonna work. And oh, it's still,
Yeah.
yeah, it's preaching to the choir. But I always tell people it's like I play every game I own for X number of minutes greater than zero. Anyway, well, I'm still looking forward to coming over and playing it with you. I should mention that, and I meant to mention this last week and I forgot. Chris, I did mod my Wii U, so the bastard child, the Nintendo bastard child, and it will now play GameCube games. So the Wii U natively already plays Wii games, and now when I flip over to the Wii console, it can play GameCube games as if I were playing them on a Wii console. It is the digital. It is from like an SD card, but it's nice to have it all in one console, and it looks really good on the big screen. You can play it in progressive scan, so I can play Melee on my big screen in progressive scan through the Wii, and it looks great. Would recommend if you have a Wii U. If you don't have a Wii U, I would definitely not recommend getting one just for that. No offense,
That's okay.
Wii U or Wii U collectors.
The Wii U crawled so that the Switch could fly.
That's fair. I like what you did there. That was a good word choice. The Switch. People will tell me I'm a homer, and if they're right, and they might be, and that's fine. The Switch is already like a top 3 all-time console for me.
Hmm.
And it's high praise, but
Besides its like terrible quality, like both my controllers have issues with it.
it's true.
Uh,
I
this is probably the
upgraded
worst quality. I mean, nah, the Xbox 360 Ring of Death is probably the worst quality
I
because
don't
that's like the
when you trashed the 360, you also had to trash the PS3. Had the red light issues in the initial
I
model.
didn't
Yeah, it
yeah, I
was
didn't know that.
no. They both were. That was for being very successful in the long term. That console generation did not start off very good, but both of them eventually made changes and got
The
over
thing is, I feel like Nintendo usually doesn't have any real problems because
not like
because
that.
it doesn't like stretch the
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 the boundaries, the envelope.
yeah all that much. But like I don't know, it's just the controller setup is just
We did upgrade
you would think it
to
would be
the when we upgraded to the better battery life. The controllers that we got with it, those do not have issues. Like it's blatantly clear which ones do versus which ones don't. If that's any
hmm,
consolation, but it still does not feel technically, and it's just part of being portable. It doesn't. It feels like I'm gonna break it at any moment, but I haven't
yeah.
yet. Love me some Switch. Turn it into a bit of a problem. That's been my whole week though, is fighting with a Wii U that I will also again probably never play other than just be like, oh look, Smash Bros. Melee in progressive scan on a big TV, and then that's it. But it was fun. I enjoyed it. That's all I got. Let's talk about this episode. Let's do it. I can't wait. I'm so excited.
All
What's the biggie?
right. Long Live the Queen, which is one of like the most obvious episode
But what
titles.
a
You're like,
great title, Chris. I even
no, it's
told
great.
I even pulled like a meta commentary thing, and I made it one of my bullet points here, just because. I mean, it's great. I love it. It feels so dramatic.
Yeah. Um, so Korra, um, Korra has been captured. Inasama has been captured by the Earth Queen's forces, and they have to get away from Asami. This is a great Asami episode, like really, really great Asami, and a great Asami plus Korra episode because it really just highlights the difference between the two. Um, but how they can work together. Like Asami strategically, first of all, she sets the guy up of like, oh hey, can you please at least tie me to this bar over here, knowing that she can use her force and just some physics to break herself off of the the rail, and then she can kind of escape from there. And that's all. That reminds me of Iroh talking to when he was captured by some also Earth Kingdom forces. Um, he was he was chained, and he asked the guy, was like, "Hey, my chains hurt," and then the guy was like, "I'm not going to loosen the chains for you." Like, no, no, I don't want you to loosen the chains. I actually want you to tighten them. Like they're so jaggedy, they're banging up against my bones. And then the guy goes to tighten the chains, and then but Iroh like then breathes like just hot air onto the metal, and then he puts the guy's hand on it and then burns the guy's hand. Just that type of tricking them is a really cool strategy.
If they would have watched the first series, they would have known. Don't ever
Yeah,
mess with chains.
yeah, just follow protocol.
You just right there's it's protocol for a reason. You got a checklist,
Yeah,
you follow it.
exactly. Um, so then Asami breaks out, and and Korra then they're like, all right, let's take over the ship. And Korra busts into the into the place, air bends him against the controls, and then she has to like apologize for not, I don't know, air bending softer than that. Um, and then they crash the ship, and they're stuck in the desert. Which this complete callback to the desert episode when Team Avatar is stuck in the desert. In fact, they get out pretty much the same way. Only difference is they doesn't end with Korra killing a buzzard wasp, murdering a buzzard wasp.
Now she does almost murder a full crew of people on a ship, but
That
it
is
was more.
true.
It would have been
Yes.
more of an accident than an actual murder. More of a
Yeah.
what's it, manslaughter
Oh, but
versus
that's
murder? Is that fair?
yeah. But it's funny though. So um, so just to we can kind of get through this one. So they then talk to the captain. Captain's like, "We're not going anywhere." And they're like, "Oh, there's a big monster, whatever." It's like, "All right, fine, let's go." So they fix the ship, and then right when they fix the ship, the monster then the shark dune monster kind of thing, like then like eats the ship. And then in the commentary, Brian and Mike says like, "Oh yeah, the original notes was that one of those guys gets killed by that monster." And then they're like, yeah,
That might
that's
be
like too
too
much
much. That's
killing.
too strong. That's too
Yeah,
strong.
like especially because we have like a very important death coming up, and this one's like not important. But then if we do that one thing, we're only allowed to do so many killings in an episode, maybe even in a season, and uh, and you don't want to have this one that's like meaningless. And also, then that will completely put Korra responsible for that guy's death because she was the one that that uh that wrecked the ship that landed them there. And like we couldn't just have her dealing with the responsible for a guy's death.
Did you just unplug your microphone on purpose?
I do it on purpose, but
Okay. Yeah, I
I'm
think that
good.
would have been a little too dark and a little too much.
Yeah.
Um, so you know what? I'm glad they left that out, just so there's no nothing else on our conscience for like, is Korra a murderer?
Exactly.
Are we
'Cause
supposed to?
oh my gosh, could you imagine fans if and things I wouldn't be able to like justify. I mean, sort of. I'd be like, hey, well, Korra got captured by the earthquake, and like she didn't know that they were gonna be in a desert sand with some killer shark sand monster thingy. but they would be like, Korra got not only did Korra lose past lives, but then also she's responsible for killing this guy. I mean, she would have been more responsible, I think, for killing the guy, I don't know. And also because he's an innocent guy. He's like just doing his job.
He we have no idea what this is, like Batman philosophy of we have no idea what that guy's level of intent or evilness is. He's just a
Yeah.
henchy. He's not even got a name tag.
Is that Joe?
That was Michael Caine in Austin Powers 3. Mm.
I don't remember that movie.
That, I mean, I don't
Besides the
necessarily care for the movies, but I love that line where Michael Caine's fighting off bad guys, and
oh
one of
really?
them comes up to like apprehend him. He's like, "Look at yourself. You haven't even got a name tag."
Okay. I first thought this because you're speaking
A
in some
poor
British
accent, a very poor
accent.
accent.
I
Yeah.
thought this was some Ted Lasso reference.
Oh,
But
it probably should have been, but nope, I got nothing there.
okay.
Just more Michael Caine movies. That's all.
Um, so then they create a sand glider and then they get out, and that's kind of their story. Like there's a lot more to it. I think there's a lot of great Asami and Korra um, character stuff done there. Because I think just really shows the ingenuity that Asami has. Like Asami's like really smart. Like a ship broke down and she fits the ship. Like that's impressive.
That they're very resourceful. I We know that Asami's kind of got this in her sort of inventively, but this is like hands on. I'm going to go another Austin Powers 3 quote here. This is like hands on evil genius. And that's a different level than just being very intelligent in your own workspace or in your own laboratory or whatever. Like, no, this is very hands on.
Yeah. All right. So that's kind of that A plot, or no, that's more of the B plot. I don't know. They're pretty even plots.
That's more of a B though.
I mean, I will probably agree with you.
It's close. I get what you're saying.
Yeah. All right. So then you have the red. You know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, yeah, that's the B plot. Because all right, so you have the Red Lotus, and so they've captured Mako and Bolin, and they go to the Earth Queen because they know the Earth Queen forces has captured Korra. So then they want to kind of make a trade, if you will, or at least give her some more information. The Earth Queen seemed to be pleased with their offer of like, oh, you can give me my airbenders, and you know what, I'll give you Korra because they're like, listen, you don't want this political, fiasco. Like you kidnapped the Avatar. Like the other nations are not gonna look fondly on that, especially because she is like a princess, if you will, of one of those nations, of half of one of those other nations. The other one is led by a, uh, the daughter of a man who was close friends with the previous Avatar, and then the other one is the Air Nation, which she is trying to rebuild. Yeah, you're not gonna make friends with them.
They don't even have to like the Avatar to generally politically see that as a fairly hostile little maneuver.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Think
But
about in the time of Kyoshi, like the Avatar is such a huge deal of like, where is the Avatar? Who's training the Avatar? Who has the Avatar? We got to know where the Avatar's at all times. Like
yeah,
all four nations.
you could be
Once,
anti-Avatar and still be like, Earth Kingdom just kidnap her. Is that bad? Yeah, it's bad. Okay,
yeah,
yeah, we better do something about that.
exactly. Yeah. Good point. Um, and then, so then she's like, yeah, I agree to these terms. I'll hand over the Avatar to you, and you'll share whatever information you have with me and everything. Blah blah blah. So here does some snooping on them, and then realize that her forces has lost the Avatar. And then in the moment of, I don't know where to rank this moment in in Avatar history. It'll be really, I really don't know where to rank. I haven't really thought about that, but it's a very top moment. Zahir is confronting the Earth Queen, and he tells her, like, he kind of drops the, he doesn't drop the politeness, but he gets very serious with her. Um, and she's like, "You need to leave at this in this moment. You know, you wouldn't dare harm a queen." And then he like air bends around her. He's like, "I don't know if you know this, something like that, but I don't believe in queens," which is such a Zahir line, like such a Zahir line. And then he goes on this pretty quick monologue. He's like, "You think freedom is something you can just take at will from your people? No, freedom is just as important as breathing, just as important as air." And as he's saying this, like he's freaking air bending. He makes a sphere of air around Earth Queen. And I remember watching this first time, like, wait, what? He's he's like, sure, the episode's called "Long Live the Queen," and you have a good feeling what's gonna happen, but you maybe at most think like, oh, she's gonna be overthrown. And still, even in this moment, he has her. You think, oh, he's gonna incapacitate her in some way, but like, no, it's here. It sounds like he's meaning business. And then he says like he ends it with, "You think freedom is he's freedom is air. Without it, there's only darkness." And like just the scenery of her gasping for air. That's when you knew it was serious. Like she is dying. Like it is.
It,
They zoom in on her
it's not like a
eyeballs.
torture, for real. Like, no, he's actually gonna kill her.
Yeah, like she is gasping, choking for air, and the music supports it. Like it's just kind of a scary scene. And he kills her. I mean, and they go away right as she like the camera. It's so beautifully done. Uh, she's choking, and then as she's all you see is her hand just gasping, and he takes the air. You see the air coming out of her, and just little swindle of air she's gasping for, and it leaves her. And then her hand falls. Like that's one of the things I absolutely love when death is shown in like some of this PG-7 or PG-13 is that you had to be creative with it because your imagination is far more scary than what reality could show you, what they can show you in a R movie
We
for
just
the most part.
we talked about it on my other show a little bit the other day. Of we were talking about Goosebumps, and so Goosebumps, R.L.
Mm-hmm.
Stein. And I said
Yep.
like the only thing about writing kids horror, obviously it's not really scary, and it's because you have to write it in a way where kids know it's not real. Is kind of the big deal. Like you have to kill people off or scare people or whatever in a way that's like patently fictional, so that it can still be dramatic and have dramatic effect, but not actually horrify children to not sleeping or what have you. And this kind of fits that mold. I mean, it's
Yeah.
terrifying, but it's not like just awful blood and
Yeah.
gore, stabbing or murder or whatever.
Like I would take a creative because they had to be creative in the way that they show these killings. They can't really show the killings, so they gotta cue you in with with subtle visual and tonal cues of like, all right, this is happening. Like I've seen it all throughout, um, a bunch of DC animated shows and movies, and how they show death. But another great scene here. Uh, and then, gosh, yeah, this season, this was the moment that like this season is just keeps kind of building and building. Like sure, I think that last episode wasn't as good as the previous one, but it still held it sort of. And then
Yeah, it wasn't a
this one's
letdown by any
kind
stretch
of
or
taking it
anything.
up.
This is a. I'm trying to think here. I don't have a good list. I don't want to pretend to, but I'm comfortable saying this is a top five moment of me cross series.
Okay,
A top five moment cross series.
that's big.
It is, yeah. I
Like
mean,
I would put it. It's definitely in my top. Hmm.
it's tough to
It,
think
it,
that
it,
top five,
like
even there's more seasons than five already, so that makes it a really tough draw.
yeah.
It's like, all right, so is it really? But I think so. I think I'm okay at
It.
five.
I know I have two in Legend of Korra that I think are better. Um, but but one of those two happens in this season, which says a lot about this season. Uh, the end of the season finale.
I know which one you're talking about, and while I do agree to an extent, I think I like this a little better. But it could just be me being contrarian because it's
Mhm.
late at night or whatever. I do think I
Yeah,
like this moment a smidge better than that one, but I totally get they're amazing, and it speaks again testament to the
yeah,
season as a whole.
yeah. We'll whenever we finish Korra, we'll do our top moments.
It'll
It'll
be
be really
tough.
interesting.
I'll give you that for
Yeah,
sure. But hey, suffice to say, this is an amazing moment, and you can be watching it as it happens, and it's still kind of unexpected. Like you know it's happening.
I
You're
think
like,
so.
is he really
Yeah,
gonna do that? And it does. And you're like, oh,
yeah.
oh shit. Was
Uh,
the kill in the previous episode to kind of soften us for this one? Was that like
did they kill somebody in the previous episode?
didn't he kill Iway?
Oh, yeah.
Is that to
I
soften us
mean,
up a little bit, like a little foreshadowing of like, oh yeah,
I guess
he's got
so.
some murder in it. Like, would it
But
be
it's not.
crazier?
I mean, he did kill Iway, but like, there's a very slim chance that
A
Iway could be
non-zero.
saved.
Yeah, non-zero. Okay, that's fair. I
Um,
it would have
it's
been
funny because I think of the Fog of Lost Souls. I feel like lately I've been watching shows that depict hell as your own making of your guilt and stuff.
the good
Like
place. Got it. Yeah.
Good Place, exactly. Lucifer, that they
Yeah.
kind of depict hell as that as well. And like yeah, the Fog of if anything is close to hell in the Avatar series, the Fog of Lost Souls would be hell. All right, but Tenzin was able to make his way out of it and get others out of it. So it's not, and that's in a sense that's the same way in Lucifer is that, and also in a good place that you can work your way out of it if if you're
If the very
if you do
specific
a
set
lot
of
of
circumstances
internal,
align,
yeah, if you
yeah,
do a lot of internal searching and stuff like that.
that's fair. Yeah.
Yeah.
So all right. Well, so maybe he didn't kill Iway. I think he killed Iway, but maybe he
I
didn't
mean,
kill Iway.
I don't see Iway as a type to be able to fight his way out of the Fog of Lost Souls.
Yeah, I don't think his truth thing's gonna help him much, but maybe
Yeah.
that is intended to soften us up at least to the idea of like,
Yeah.
oh yeah,
It's a soft
Zahir
killing. Like his body's
is
still there.
it's like, but just the idea of like, oh yeah, Zahir is capable of some pretty cruel
Yeah.
stuff, not just yeah. Enough said. Enough said.
Yeah. And then and then Mako and Bolin are trying to escape. Mako's trying to get Bolin to metal bend, and he still can't do it. And then Zahir talks to him, and Zahir's like, I like how Zahir takes them out pretty quickly. And I buy this because I wouldn't buy it. Well, I wouldn't buy it right now that he could take them both on by himself if they weren't in a jail cell. Because there's only so much you can do. like Bolin can't really bend at him that well and stuff like that. And also Zahir's very evasive. He's able to knock them out very quickly. Like a jail cell is the perfect uh, fight for an airbender because the air just goes right through the cell bars. And I guess fire would sort of be the same, and water. Earth would be
You'd
not
think
good,
that
not
air
as
would be
good.
the least impeded.
Yes, yes.
Maybe I don't know
Anyway, he
fire
knocks them out.
science. If you know fire science, call us out.
Fire's freaking weird,
Fire's
man.
weird.
Like fire is not a solid. It is not a gas. It is not a liquid. It's not even. At
It's
first, I
not
thought,
a
oh, it's a plasma, but it's not even a
substance.
plasma.
Yeah, it's not a substance.
It's not any. It had. There's nothing else like it.
It's just what does Dimitri Martin say? Is you're nothing but a shape and a temperature.
Like
Temperature
I
cold,
was
shape
watching a YouTube
ugly.
video. I was watching a YouTube video on just like what is fire, and they ended it with like fires. We don't know what
It's just
fire
kind of its own
is.
thing.
It's hard to.
Hey, fire
It's like
science
even
is its own dedicated branch. Like I said, if you
yeah,
study some fire science, give us a holler. We'd love to hear.
yeah. Because like even plasma is like pretty defined. Like thunder, that's lightning. That's same difference. Lightning, that's plasma. Like, but like fire, it's forever changing. It's it's yeah, it's weird.
It's
Like it's
wild,
tangible. You can touch it.
and you can feel it.
Yeah. But
Science with
anyway,
Chris and Shawn. Probably not our strongest subject, if we're being honest, but we are being honest about it. That's got to count for something. We're not pretending to be scientists here. Yeah, so Well, actually, let me skip back to the page where we actually see where we're at. Well, Chris is coughing there. That's pretty exciting. So yeah, he bests them in the jail cell. Are we to the point where they essentially commandeer the PA system for the city?
Yes.
And like, hey, we don't want to
Yep.
hurt you. We just murdered the Earthquake. Got a little announcement we like toss out to
But
everybody.
yeah, but I love how like they had to continue talking air quotes. Like the guy's like, "Ah, who's here?" Like, I'm not gonna help you. And then meanwhile, it's like, "This is the guy who just took out the Earth Queen." Like, come on, we know. Just say it. You killed the Earth Queen.
I was gonna say you can. Well, maybe you can't just say it. Maybe it is better this
No,
way.
no,
But
they can't say it. But
yeah, just took her out. That's all. It just
just took her out to
incapacitated
dinner. Just took her out.
incapacitated the Earth Queen.
She's still at Red Lobster.
She ran.
Took her out.
She went to live on the farm.
Yeah. And then I love how Zahir talks to everyone because he's very truthful. He's like, everyone, moments ago, freedom fighters like myself overthrew the Earth Queen. Like he could have took credit for it. He could have been like, moments ago, I Zahir to kill the Earth Queen. But instead,
Sucked
it's
the
like, no,
spirit
freedom
out of her
fighters.
body.
Yeah, he says, freedom fighters like myself overthrew the Earth Queen. My name isn't important. Like that is a person who knows true to the cause. Like so many people get wrapped up in in causes and they end up being more about themselves, i.e., like preachers, stuff
Every
like that. Anyway,
everything is, and there's the great episode of Friends about this where like everything. What is it? There's no good deed that's not self-serving.
yeah, I remember Phoebe.
Right, she's trying
Yeah,
to do a good deed, and then when she finally does it, and she's like, "Oh yay, I did it!" and then oh crap or whatever, like
yeah, exactly.
because she got excited, so it's self-serving. But this actually has an air of not that it's a good deed to murder queens or anything
Yeah.
like that, but it has an air of like he truly there's like an authenticity to like no, this is not for me.
hmm
Where you kind of believe that he believes that at least.
Yeah. And one thing I forgot to mention in the previous episode when he's going with Korra he's talking about Korra, and he says like, when I awakened with airbending, I knew that I had a righteous cause that would change the world. And in a sense, he was right. Like his actions sort of led. I mean, he hated the Earth Queen. He hated that monarchy and everything like that. I mean, he hates world leaders in general, but still, his actions end up leading to the Earth Kingdom being a democratic state. Like they have individual states, and they all, in a fair way, elect their leaders now. Um, and to me, that's the best the best way. America, who invented democracy.
Wait, did
I'm
we?
kidding.
I
If we did, we are terrible inventors in it because our democracy looks
I'm
like
gonna
crap compared
quote
to others.
I'm gonna quote the good place here and say that whether it's better or worse, and I'm not gonna quote it because I don't remember the quote, but just like not being able to even fathom the consequences of our actions, you know, when our intentions are good, but not being able to fathom the overall consequences that stem from that here. So even if his
Hmm.
intentions were good and even the outcome is good, it's like it's still a little hard to judge
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
all
yeah,
the
yeah.
garbage that goes on in between. But hey, it didn't get worse for the country as a whole? Question mark. You
Yeah.
know?
And it goes back to like in season 4 when we see him again, like he doesn't hold a grudge against Korra. Like he genuinely wants to help her. Like which I think makes him even a better villain. Like he's so bought into his mission and his goals. Like he is uncorruptible, right? Like they say power corrupts. Like he could have easily gotten power from taking out the Earth Queen by saying his own name, but he's
Well,
he's not like that.
and he is still. What am I trying to say here? He's still trying to do the best he can with whatever situation he is when he's trying to help her in the fourth
Yeah.
season. Like, I can't do it my way, but I still, like, I'm devoted to this cause, big picture, and I'll do what I can
Yeah.
from inside of the cell. And that's very refreshing, or very unique, at least.
Yep. All right. And then that's pretty much the episode.
Yeah. I will just tack onto the end here that they let Mako and Bolin go.
Oh
Gazan does,
yeah. Oh
right?
yeah. And then I
Gazan does.
forgot they. Oh
Bolin
man, I
thinks that
completely
he
forgot.
metal bends all the gates open, but it was really just Gazan releasing all the prisoners, and he
Yeah.
says, "Hey, I'm leaving you alive. All I want you to do is take this message back to Korra."
Yeah. But I forgot that Lin and Tonrock met up with Lord Zuko at
Oh
the
yeah,
Misty Palm Oasis.
I forgot about that as well.
And Lin was able to go meet Naga. Oh, I forgot in the last episode too. I love when Naga successfully tracks Highway, and Korra's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I don't have any treats." And then Naga turns around, and just slaps her with with her tail, and then uh, and then Lin finds Naga, and Naga like wars at her because that's just Naga. But then Naga realizes, oh, it's Lin, and then she like licks the crap out of her. And Lin's like, oh, first you scared me out of death, then you lick me. And then she like pulls out jerky out of her pouch and gives it to her. And at first I was like, I'm not buying this. Why would she have dog treats just available to give to Naga, a dog that she doesn't even like love? But it's just jerky. Like in the commentary, Bryan and Mike are just like, it's just what Lynn eats. Like she's not like she eats just like very minimum stuff. Like she just has jerky on her,
Should
and
be the
she's not
type
like
to
sitting down
not
to eat.
appreciate culinary extras,
Yeah,
culinary exquisite things.
but
I get that. I eat a lot of oatmeal, and not in the same literal dish, but I eat a lot of oatmeal and chicken, so I get
yeah.
it.
Oh, and then we see Korra meet Zuko, and then Zuko's like, "Oh, I haven't seen you since you're a little girl," which I just love the idea of an old Zuko meeting. Uh,
Little potbelly Cora.
yeah, little potbelly Korra.
She's so cute.
Yeah.
And her brashness, maybe impressing old Lord Zuko at that point. Her
Oh, I'm
brazen
sure it did.
attitude, yeah.
Yeah.
Chris, let's get to some ratings.
All right. I already don't like my ratings.
We do that
There's one that
sometimes.
probably would change. Anyway, audio visual 8.5. I'm good with this one because I think there wasn't like that much action in it, and they even mentioned this in commentary. They're like, yeah, there wasn't that much action in it, but like we never thought it was boring, and I completely agree. Like, there's never, especially in this episode, there's not a dull moment. I mean, you're kind of on, which is really good story wise. You're on the edge of your seat for good parts of it. Kind of minus the even the Sen Lost in the Desert stuff is good. Body visual 8.5. Just a lot of good stuff. Specifically, the Earth Queen dying stuff with the facial expressions, things like that. Really good. 8.5.
Will haunt my nightmares forever.
Story 9.5. I think the story just completely just amped everything up in this episode. Um, the stakes have just been risen. Yeah, I don't even have that much to say for some reason. 9.5 on the story. Memorable. This is where I might have maybe would have given it 10. Like I'm saying, like that one moment is a possible top five. I mean, you said it's top five for the whole property. Well, no, maybe not property. Anyway, but man,
The
I mean,
whole
I guess I'm still on nine and a
universe,
half.
I
But
guess.
yeah, the Zahir killing Earth Queen, it is that's top notch stuff there. So really great episode. Gives us to a 9.2.
Yeah, Chris, I gotta admit, this is one where I looked at yours first before I put mine down. I was like, how, sort of like how high can I take this? We still got more episodes to go, and I know it gets bigger and better, so you don't want to like jump the shark too soon. I was like, how high can I even take this? I came back and I went 9 on audiovisual. I'd say it's the one place where overall it's not extremely, for like nitpicking, it's not super duper dynamic or anything like that, but
Mm.
A lot of Browns, a lot of Earth Kingdom stuff, but whatever. 9. It's 9. It's great. Story 9.5. It's great. I couldn't even tell you why it doesn't get a 10. I don't have a good reason other than just knowing that, like, I know it gets even more exciting. That's about as good of a reason as I can come up with, which is not a good one. And then memorable, same as you. It's like I put
we're
9
close.
I put 9 point. Well, like I said, I was looking at yours. Like, well, how high can I take this and still feel good now, and still have some room later for those better episodes and make them get their credit? It's like I don't know, but this is where I landed. Like you, if I take it back, I'd maybe take memorable all the way up because it has that moment, and even the B plot is like the interaction in the B plot are all very entertaining. I find all very interesting, and it still drives plot. Also, like it's a B plot, but it's not just character dev or anything. Like we're talking I don't know. It's all good. I could have easily said 10. Wouldn't have lost any sleep over it at all because we're talking about a cartoon, but also because it would have been a good choice. Anyway, 9.4. That leaves us at a healthy 9.3. This is a great episode. This is a great episode. It is. I'm excited to do moments now. Not because I have my list in mind or anything, but just I'm excited to think about it and put pen to paper and try to make that decision. But
Yeah, we should do top moments of Legend of Korra, and then just do top moments of the entire universe, even including Kyoshi stuff.
Ooh, yeah, I'll have to freshen up on Kyoshi because I still only have each of those the one time under the belt, or I guess 2 for the first one and 1 for the second one. So I'll have to refresh on those. But absolutely. And I think there's a pretty good case to be made just for a top 5 in this book. You could probably do that for any book and make a case, but
I think
this book specifically.
This book definitely has at least 2 of the top 10 of the entire universe for me.
I'll jump on that train for sure. Like I said, we can kind of waffle between a couple of moments here, but 2 out of top 10 feels very safe. Very safe.
It's going to be so difficult making the top 10 out of the whole universe.
We're looking at 7 seasons total. So if you think, all right, well, logically 3 seasons at least will have 2 moments. Like, okay, this one's going to have at least those 2, bare minimum.
2 Kyoshi books.
Oh, I forgot. I keep forgetting the books too. When she's I can't even think of their names. The yellow yellow
handkerchiefs,
yellow ascots, yellow scarves, yellow.
The yellow scarf gang.
Yellow scarf gang. Is that it? Why can't we remember this?
Doesn't sound right.
Yellow. What the hell is it? Whatever. When she fights the leader, she goes in the Avatar state there in that moment, and I can picture it so beautifully in my head. Okay,
that wasn't even what I was thinking. But that's a top one. And then to me, it's such a small moment, but such a good character moment when Brangi and Kyoshi share their first kiss, because it's kind of an intense moment because you think Kyoshi ruined something, and you get her inner monologue, and I think it's just beautifully written.
It is. I tend to. I know it's just Shawn being Shawn, but I tend to avoid the shipping moments altogether because it opens a door of like, okay, there's a lot of great shipping moments in here, and it's not really my thing. Do I even want to open that can of worms? So I probably won't have any of those in my top 10. I'm really sorry, Jamie. If you're out there, I'm sorry.
Kyoshi doing the Avatar state against Ju is just, oh man, I really want to see that animated so badly. Shout out to Keikachi channel. They're not just Keikachi, another channel. They're doing like kind of some animated, I guess, showings, renderings of the book. It's like slightly animated, very still, but still great art. It's fun and they do voices for it also.
I'll have to refresh myself on those before we do any serious lists, but
Legend of Korra first.
Legend of Korra first, absolutely. Let's get through the good stuff here, and then we can pack as many extras in as we like, and I'm kind of looking forward to that as well. In the meantime, Chris, thank you very much for joining me to review this episode here. This is Legend of Korra Book 3 Change, Chapter 10. It's called Long Live the Queen, and I think the title in the picture pretty much does say it all right there. Picture says 1,000 words, and it was a great one. I've been looking forward to this one specifically. And again, the next ones probably get even better. But what a kind of serious, I don't know, a serious highlight at not the finale. I guess it's kind of got that Lake Lagai feel to it, where it's like, is that the finale? Oh, no, it ain't the finale.
Exactly.
That's crazy. And Lake Lagai, again, similar phenomenon. But anyway, come back and join us next time for Chapter 11. In the meantime, I'm Shawn. That's my friend Chris Ford, a.k.a. The Objective Geek of YouTube and Twitter fame. I'll put all the contacty stuff in the description, and we really appreciate you being here. Thank you all, and we'll see you next time. I did not have the right person muted that time. That's on me, y'all. That's on me.